Now, if you're watching this, watch how Jake handles an actual fighter. Someone who he isn't bigger than, someone who has just as much speed and power, and someone who knows the technical aspects. Now, to Jake's credit, he got in there and threw them hands. No one is ever gonna say he don't swing. But he's not very accurate. His defense is very lax, and he does what a lot of fighters do when they get in a little trouble. Clutch. Now, there's nothing wrong with clutching when you're, in a bad position or you're getting popped. In his case, however, he is using it as a way to avoid getting dropped because he hasn't been using his skills. Now, again, he does have speed and power. He's not very accurate. And a lot of times when you watch the people that he's fought in the past, he really kind of runs over them bully style because he's a lot bigger and heavier than him. And so the issue that he ran into with this guy is he's just as big, just as strong, way more technical, and has fought more and has been able to pull off wins even in the deep waters. The later rounds are very hard. Jake, on the other hand, didn't spend much time in those latter rounds as well. And if you notice, his cardio is pretty good. But towards the end, it goes from a boxing match to a wrestling match. Now, to say that stylistically he matches up with Mike would be just an understatement. Mike was always the shorter guy, so he was very well at controlling distance and staying on the inside. These two, on the other hand, are pretty much the exact same size. But Jake Paul is taller than Mike Tyson, which fits right into Mike's demographic. Jake leaves his hands open way too much. As in when he just bounced in, you could see it. He gets hit quite a bit and does not protect himself. Mike Tyson, on the other hand, his entire defense is in his offense. He doesn't move without protecting himself. And when he does get caught, it's because someone created an opening. You see that? Hands down, leaning in for a shot. Look at him. And his opponent is guilty of it as well. We're not going to let Tommy Fury off with this one. But we already know how them Fury boys do. But in this case, I think stylistically it's a setup for Mike. All he has to do is control the distance, watch out for that left hook, which won't really be much of a factor for Mike, especially considering the opponents that he's had to face. So I think the only issue Mike would have to worry about is gassing out and his back. Because, again, the man is 58 years old. Now, me personally, I wouldn't take a fight with Mike Tyson at 58 years old because I think it's unsportsmanlike. He's an elder, and he is a legend. And it's not right to get somebody over the hill. But, kind of like George Foreman, the last thing to go is the power. So, it'll be an interesting fight, man, as long as it ain't scripted. Hopefully, if it is, Mike will get in there and forget about the script and just put old boy on the canvas for good. But you can see the defeat in his face when he lost this one. He knew for a fact he didn't win. And you can tell, look at him. That's the face of a defeated man. You can put on a good front, but you and I both know you lost. But it's okay, though. Instead of crying about it, he learned from it. So you got to give the boy credit. He ain't the best boxer, but he done talked his way into some. Now, if you watch how Mike Tyson and Roy Jones fought this fight, Mike wouldn't put too much power or turn his body too much into these punches. At moments, you can tell he's even trying to avoid actually hurting him. And, because of, look at the fast twitch. He immediately switched positions. So, now Roy is an expert at controlling distance, right? That was his thing. But unlike Jake Paul, Roy Jones Jr. had the power and the speed to back it up. Now, I know the rules for this fight were they weren't supposed to knock each other out. They were supposed to, pretty much be doing an exhibition. But when you pay attention to that fight, you could tell Mike at any point could have turned it on and put Roy Jones Jr. out. For real. What's the scariest thing about this entire sequence? the amount of focus in his eyes with every swing. If you pause it at any point during that clip, you'll see his eyes never leave the targets. His hands stay up. He defends himself, and he's accurate. Now, again, I know everybody's biggest point is, can he have the stamina to do that for the entire 8 rounds or whatever it is? And to be honest with you, I think he can. But even if he doesn't make it, do you really believe Jake Paul's going to get past that flurry? Really? Remember, when Jake actually fought a boxer, he lost. His very first time fighting an actual boxer, he got slaughtered. Could it have been worse? Yes, we really hope so. But I don't know, man. Mike might pull it off on you. And y'all telling me that this is the same motherfucker that's gonna fight Jake Paul. Now I don't know what kind of parallel world we living in where this fight is even sanctioned, let alone actually happening and has a date. But let's take a quick look at some facts. Mike Tyson is like 58, and I don't even know how old Jake Paul is. He in his 20s. Yet I know everybody seen when Mike was hitting that bag and scaring the shit out of his trainer. Now, I do want to say most of these fights are script. Most of them are set up beforehand so that they could get the biggest payday possible. But on the off chance that it is a real fight, and or say Mike forgets the script and he hears the bell ring and it flashes him back to the 90s, Jake Paul gonna be in some trouble. Not saying that Jake can't box. He actually has improved his skills. But to fight Mike, that's ridiculous. Don't forget to subscribe.